What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash. Shout out to the Dragon Riders and the House of the Dragon. We are chilling right now, you guys. We're chilling. Sitting at 343. Prime time to buy. This is the zone. We are in the area right now that I think we could find support and continue to move up higher. Absolutely, we could move lower. But this and yesterday's low, let's see, we were at 358. No, I'm sorry. 339. Almost, yeah, about 340 there. Perfect area to buy. I don't know if we're going to go lower than these lows. I had been expecting prior to this move up that we were going to see prices down at around 320 to 300, but I have since kind of let go of those predictions. I think that we will hold the 330 area. That's my expectation right now. So at this point in time, I would say that this is a perfect place probably to DCA and get into. If I was looking to buy some BCH, this would be the area I would do it. I actually was looking to buy some BCH, but I went another route, kind of a on the fly decision. I was just feeling a certain type of way, I guess, one day, and just made a ironic call. But if I was looking to buy BCH, and I recently I was actually going to buy at these exact areas. This would be the price that I would do it. Even if the price goes lower, you're at 343, 344. It could go all the way down to those areas that I was talking about originally before this move up, right? That we moved down to about 300 to 320. That could still happen. It would still be a higher low. And it would be in an area that we found support on before in a closing sense multiple times, right? It wouldn't be anything crazy. And actually, I think from a low point here to a high point, that's right at your 618 at the bottom of that circle, right? It's at a key area of support. It wouldn't be bad, but I'm not expecting that to happen. And the reason why I think it's a fine time to buy here is because if that's it, that's like the most risk that you run. It's really not that bad. It's something that you could definitely like stomach and sit through while it comes back up, and I definitely would believe it comes back up. But I don't actually think it's going to go lower. If we're looking at the daily RSI, if I could talk, it looks rather productive. We do seem to be marching our way up these higher lows and higher highs. It's looking rather nice. I like the amount of time that we are spending above the 40 line. We're not even getting down to it. The fact that you're not respecting the 50, you're not holding above it or below it, like I don't really care. Bitcoin Cash doesn't seem to care about its 50 line on the daily RSI. Sometimes it does, but most of the time it doesn't. We look at the weekly RSI. It's looking productive as well. Pointed down right now, but that's okay. You know, we've got 5 days, 21 hours left in this week. The week is still young, so we can absolutely turn this around. But we're at the point where I would expect us to start turning around actually right now. We're at the 4 hour, near the oversold zone. The last couple times we've been down here have been low points, right, that we turned around and went up. It could be. Based on the 4 hour, just based off the way it looks, given how it looks right now, I would assume we have one last little push down, and that could send us, we're at 344 right now, that could send us right around 330. 330, 335, somewhere in the low zone of this. If we break 330, it's not the end of the world, right? Like the actual lows here are at 327, right? So if we break a little bit below 330, it's okay, but you just don't want to see these lows being taken out. But at this point in time, I'm kind of convinced that this would be the low area. I wonder, going on the 1 hour here, doing some shorter term stuff. I know some of you don't appreciate the short term analysis, but some of you do. From a low point here to a high point here, at the 1618, 1272 consolidating. Critical on a 1 hour period that you don't close below 342 and 50 cents. If you close below there, likely you're going to that 330 area, 335 to 330, like specifically. That'd be the sensible area to go to. But again, if you close below that, oh well, like it's not that far away, right? And then up from there. Absolutely, you could go lower, but on a 1 hour perspective, your RSI actually does look like it's coming to the end of its ropes with this down move, right? You've got this downward sloping resistance line here, downward sloping, that's not the right way there, but downward sloping support line, something like that. It is coming to a point where it's going to have to end because you can only go so low, right? You can only go to the zero line. Maybe you have one more drive down in you, but I would assume on this next move, like you would break out, if not even right now, you might be breaking out of this trend. When you break out of this 1 hour downtrend, I think that could start off a chain reaction in your 4 hour time frame that gets you back up here, getting out of this danger zone, starts a chain reaction and leads up to the daily being more productive, getting above that 50, getting to stronger readings as well, which would then lead to Bitcoin Cash breaking out of this little consolidation phase that it's in and finally getting back above that $400 price area. But it all starts here, right? If it doesn't happen today, if it doesn't happen on this move right now on the 1 hour, right, that's okay. It could happen 3 days from now. It could happen with a new setup. It doesn't have to happen right now, but this is something that genuinely could happen right now if we break this little downward sloping trend that we have in the 1 hour. Do I think we're going to do that? If I really had to guess, I would say no. At this point in time, just with the way that it looks, my bias would be that we do have a little bit more downside to go. I still think it's a perfect time to DCA, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw prices around 335 to 330. Let's see how we do with that. Maybe by the end of the day we start coming up, and then tomorrow or the next day we start breaking out of this downtrend in the 1 hour on the RSI and in the price action. But for now, probably some downside and then some upside. So very soon, my friends, very, very soon, we're going to be moving up to higher prices. But for the time being, we're just chilling. We're just chilling. 344 right now, calling for prices as low as like 330. That's not, like we're basically at the low points now. And then as time goes on, we will break out of this longer phase of consolidation in the weekly, right? This little downtrend that we're in here, break out of that and see our next leg up, which ultimately would take us to $936, $1,300 or higher in what I would assume would be by the end of this year. And the reason why I think we could go higher than the 1618, 1300 there, a lot of you already know. A lot of you, shout out to the Dragon Riders. I know you guys know. From a high point to a low point here, your move did not stop at the 1618. It stops at the 2272. Okay, that's where it went up to. From a low or a high point to a low point here, your move did not stop at the 1618. It did for a second, but it continued past that, past the 200, reaching for the 2272, but not quite getting there, right? So being that you haven't stopped at your 1618 either of the previous times, I'm going to assume that it's completely possible that you could see prices at 1700 to 2500, something like that, by the end of this next move. And with the amount of time that you have left in the year, I feel very confident in saying that that would likely happen by the end of the year. But time will tell. We'll see how it goes. This would be a larger move percentage-wise, right, than these moves were here. It'd be a larger move that I'm calling for. But I think that that makes perfect sense when comparing, whenever addressing the fact that Bitcoin Cash would be breaking out of this consolidation phase if it were to have this next move up, right? And that this breakout, I think, would be very significant and cause a very significant move, which could cause a significant chain of reactions or chain reaction of events that leads us up to much more glorious prices as time goes on. But anyways, I'm getting away from the main stuff that I was trying to say, which is just the short-term stuff, which is that Bitcoin Cash is going to chill, probably going to move down for the rest of the day, or at least in the first half of this day. Maybe by the end of the day we start coming back up, but I don't think today's the day that we're going to be breaking out of this consolidation phase just yet. I think it might be tomorrow or sometime later this week, but for now, maybe a little bit more down and then up. We'll see how it goes. If we can close today green, if we go down to that 330 area and then we come back up here or higher and close like this by the end of the day, I would think that we are now then probably tomorrow and the days after working our way back up to the high point of this little consolidation phase and probably looking to break out of this here pretty soon. But time will tell. At this point, I'm repeating myself, so hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.